It was a warm, sun-soaked afternoon in Los Angeles, and Will Smith was enjoying a rare moment of peace. After a long day of filming for an upcoming project, he decided to step outside and take a leisurely stroll near Venice Beach. The breeze was gentle, the sound of the waves crashing in the distance was soothing, and for a brief moment, Will could forget about the chaotic demands of his career. As he walked, he felt the energy of the city, the excitement, the creativity, and the constant hum of life that Los Angeles seemed to radiate. As Will wandered down the street, he noticed a small crowd gathered near the entrance of a nearby building. It wasn't uncommon to see people taking pictures or stopping to admire the sights, but something about the gathering felt different. He couldn't quite put his finger on it, but he felt compelled to investigate. As he neared, he saw a young boy sitting alone on the steps of the building, scribbling something in a notebook. His clothes were worn, and his face, despite its youth, seemed tired. His eyes, although bright, carried a heaviness that was hard to ignore. Will walked up to him, curious, but not wanting to intrude. The boy was so engrossed in his drawing that he hadn't noticed Will approach. But when Will spoke, the boy's head jerked up in surprise.
Hey there, what's going on?
Will asked with a friendly smile, crouching down so he was eye level with the boy. The boy's eyes widened in disbelief. You're Will Smith, he exclaimed, his voice filled with awe. It was clear he hadn't expected someone like Will to just approach him out of nowhere. Will chuckled, his eyes twinkling.
Yeah, that's me.
He said, still smiling.
What's your name, buddy?
The boy's expression softened, and a look of excitement replaced his initial shock. I'm Jason Turner, he said quickly, almost as though he couldn't believe he was talking to his idol. You're my favorite actor. I've seen every movie you've been in. You're amazing. Will grinned.
I appreciate that, Jason. Thanks for saying that. So, what are you drawing there?
He asked, pointing to the notebook Jason had been working on. Jason hesitated for a moment before shyly passing the notebook to Will. I draw superheroes, he said quietly. I've been drawing them for a while now. They help me escape when things get hard. I want to be an artist when I grow up. I want to create heroes that people look up to, just like you in Hancock or Men in Black. Will looked down at the pages of the notebook and was immediately impressed. The drawings were dynamic, full of action, and brimming with emotion. Each superhero had a unique personality and power, and the detail in the artwork was striking. Will could see that Jason's talent was undeniable, even at such a young age.
These are incredible, Jason.
Will said with a smile.
You've got some real talent here. You're already creating something amazing. But what's got you sitting out here by yourself? Why not draw inside where it's warmer?
Jason's smile faltered slightly, and he shifted uncomfortably. He looked down at the ground, unable to meet Will's gaze. I can't really go outside much, he muttered. I've been sick for a while. The doctors say I need to stay inside and rest. I haven't been able to do the things I want to do, and it's been hard. My mum says I'm supposed to focus on getting better, but sometimes I just feel like everything I want is too far away. Like my dreams are out of reach. Will's heart sank as he listened to Jason's words. He understood what it felt like to be at a crossroads in life, unsure of how to move forward. But he also knew that obstacles, no matter how big, could be overcome. He had faced his own challenges and doubts in his career, but he had never given up on his dreams. And he wasn't about to let Jason give up on his.
Jason, listen to me,
Will said gently, his tone serious.
Just because you're facing some challenges right now doesn't mean your dreams are out of reach. You've got something special inside of you. You've already started creating. That's more than most people ever do. Don't let anything hold you back.
Jason looked up at him, hope flickering in his eyes but still tinged with doubt. But how can I make it happen if I can't even leave my house? How can I ever get better or do the things I love? Will thought for a moment, a smile slowly spreading across his face as an idea came to him.
You're not stuck, Jason. You're just in the beginning stages of something great, and I'm going to help you. You're going to have the tools, the support, and the opportunities to make your dreams a reality.
Jason blinked, still uncertain. But how? Will grinned, pulling out his phone.
You'll see,
he said. He quickly dialed a number, speaking with purpose.
Get everything ready. I've got a young artist who needs a little help. Make sure it's all set up. I'm bringing him over.
A few hours later, Will returned to Jason's house. But this time, things were different. The room had been transformed. There was a brand new flat-screen TV, a sleek laptop sitting on the desk, and even some high-quality art supplies neatly arranged on the table. Jason stood frozen in place, his mouth slightly open in shock as he took in the sight. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Will Smith, his idol, had come through. Not only had he spoken words of encouragement, but he had made them a reality. Jason's heart raced with excitement and disbelief. Will stepped into the room, his grin wide as ever.
What do you think, Jason?
He asked, his voice full of enthusiasm.
You're not stuck, remember? You've got all the tools you need to make your dreams come true.
Jason walked cautiously over to the desk, his fingers grazing over the sleek laptop, the smooth surface of the new art supplies, and the vibrant colors of the paintbrushes that seemed to shimmer with endless possibilities. It was all so overwhelming. I don't know what to say, Jason whispered, still in awe. Will chuckled, ruffling the boy's hair affectionately.
You don't need to say anything, man. Just start creating. You've got the talent. Now it's time to make your mark on the world. And remember, it's not about how fast you get there. It's about staying true to your vision and pushing through the tough times.
Jason's eyes were bright with renewed energy, his previous doubt starting to melt away. He turned to Will, a determined look on his face. I'll make you proud, he said with quiet confidence. Will's smile softened as he looked at the young boy, his heart swelling with pride.
I already am, Jason. I already am.
Over the next few weeks, Jason's world slowly began to change. With his new tools and the encouragement he had received from Will, he poured himself into his art. Every line, every stroke of color felt more meaningful, more alive than before. The superheroes he drew began to take on a deeper significance, each one representing a part of his journey, his hopes, and his dreams. As his work progressed, Jason realized that his dreams were no longer out of reach. They were right there in front of him, ready to be brought to life. And though he still faced challenges, both in terms of his health and the uncertainty of the future, he knew one thing for certain. He wasn't alone in his pursuit. He had someone in his corner, someone who had shown him that even the toughest obstacles could be overcome with a little bit of help, a lot of heart, and the right tools. Years later, Jason's art was being showcased in a local gallery, and as he stood before his work, the same superhero figures he had once drawn in solitude, he couldn't help but think back to that fateful afternoon when Will Smith had walked into his life. He'd come to be more than just a hero on the screen. He had become a hero in real life, someone who had given Jason the belief and the support he needed to pursue his dreams. As Will had said, it wasn't about how fast you reached your destination. It was about the journey and how you chose to face the challenges along the way. And Jason knew without a doubt that he was ready for whatever the future held. Jason stood there, gazing at each painting as it seemed to hold a piece of him. Every artwork on the walls reflected parts of his life, his struggles, his dreams, and his growth. Looking at them, memories from years ago began to flood his mind. It felt almost impossible to believe that what once seemed like distant dreams were now tangible realities. In the beginning, trusting his art and holding on to hope for the future had been incredibly difficult. Back then, everything felt uncertain. He often felt lost and unsure. He created with hesitation, each brushstroke a tentative step forward. In those dark times, he remembered Will Smith's words of encouragement. Don't give up, this is your journey. Those words had eased his doubts, fears, and uncertainty, giving him the strength to push forward. Now, the scene before him was so different from those early days. Back then, each sketch, each draft was a search for identity, but now, each painting told a story, his story. The uncertain, difficult days of the past had laid the foundation for the confident steps he now took. The characters he once drew for escapism had evolved into reflections of his own journey. With each brushstroke, he had grown. Those early struggles had been part of the process, pushing him to this point, to the person standing before these works of art.